MA ヘッドライン。
今回のゲストはアメリカの伝説的ロックバンドTOTOの中心人物、ギタリストスティーブ・ルカサー。6月21日に最新ソロアルバムブリッジズをリリース。今回はインターネットでのリモートインタビューを敢行。新たなラインナップで再始動し、7月に4年ぶりのジャパンツアーが決定した新生TOTOについて、そして最新ソロアルバムブリッジズに迫ります。
Well, it's going to be a great show. I mean, the new version of the band that I put together a few years ago. It's exciting, man. We've done 150 shows already. We've just been on the road with Journey doing arenas.
That's great.
For the last 3 months, and then I've been working this band. Last year we were in Europe and doing festivals, and we've done a lot of shows. The band's gotten really tight, and it's really exciting. It's like the young cats kicking the old guy's ass. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. Everybody gets along really well. And I have some, like my oldest friend in the whole world, John Pierce, is playing bass. He's the legendary session guys with Huey Lewis and the News for 30 years. We were in the high school band before TOTO. Our mothers were pregnant on the same block.
They were friends.
We high-fived each other's fetuses coming into the world. We played music since we were little kids, and we played in bands in junior high. He was in our high school band, which was pre-TOTO, and went off to be a great session musician. Then he joined Huey's band, and me and him have always wanted to be in a band again. When Huey stopped working because of his hearing issues, I said, "You're coming out to play with me now. We're going to end our lives playing together." So Joseph
Start and end together, right?
It's a bookend. It's like, Joseph, John, and I go back to, I met Joseph when we were teenagers. So these are my childhood friends.
Oh, that's great.
That's what's really cool for me, to be able to sit in the back of the bus with my childhood friends and speak a language only we understand from growing up together our entire lives.
And what is Joseph Williams to you?
Soul brother, man. One of the most talented people I've ever known. A deep soul, a deep professional, a guy with endless flow of ideas and a heart of gold, and a talent. And his voice, he's singing better now than he ever did in his whole life. There's not a whole lot of 60-year-old guys that could say that. And because he developed the voice and he retooled it with a teacher and got it right. And it's we still care. We may be older, but we still really care about keeping the level of excellence in this band that's expected of it by the people that respect us.
Well, you guys do the work, obviously. You care to do the work, right?
Read between the lines, brother. Read between the lines.
Yeah. The drummer, Robert Sput.
Sput was started a band called Snarky Puppy.
Right.
High level, high end musician. He's got a band called Ghost Note as well that he played with, but he was a recommendation. That drum chair is very sacred because Jeff Vaccaro sat there first, then Simon, and then Keith Carlock, then Greg Bissonette, then Shannon Forrest. You got to be a badass to sit in that chair, and he had big shoes to fill, and he came in and he made it his own. He brings a different energy to it, but he grooves, and I know Jeff would have loved him. He was a little cracked up and thought it was great, but and he brings a different energy to it, and positive, youthful, more youthful. He's not a young man, he's not an old man. He's like 40 or something like that,
And the keyboard is Dominique Xavier Taplin, who played with Prince. What about him? What kind of musician is he?
One of the most accomplished musicians I've ever known. I mean, he's got perfect pitch. He was in Prince's band. Prince and no slouches in that band, and he was a young guy. When he joined our band, he was like 26 years old. And he plays like a 50-year-old jazz musician, you know what I mean? And he's world class, man. I mean, he's always brings something new to it. He revoices. So he comes from that, it's a jazz funk thing that he comes from, but he can rock too. And he sings great. Everybody sings great. So the vocals are really strong. So that's also a kick.
And the other keyboardist, Steve, is it Maggiore?
Maggiore, like Italian.
Maggiore. What kind of musician is he?
He's a friend of my son Trev's, and great keyboard player, incredible vocalist, and a really nice cat, man. And he's a young cat too, another guy. And it's a great energy. You hope that people get along when you put together a new thing, you know. Especially when you have to pay homage to the old thing. And they brought a great energy with also respect to what the record sounded like, you know.
And what about Warren Ham, the multi-instrumentalist?
They're fabulous, man. This guy's a secret weapon. He's in Ringo's band with me too. I got him on that band. This guy, you know, it's congas, all the woodwinds, killer lead vocals, harmonica, there's nothing this guy can't do. An incredible vocalist and a great cat and a great asset and a great vibe. I love him to death. And he's an important member of the band. Wait till you see where this guy's busier than a three-legged cat trying to bury a turd on an ice rink. You have to think about that one for a minute.
Yeah.
You know? Joseph and him are like childhood friends of mine. So I had childhood friends on me as well as some new young guys. I mean, the band has changed lineups. I mean, Mike and Jeff passed away, you know, tragically. And I just want to keep the music alive. You know, that's why we keep doing it, you know. And I still love doing it. Something keeps pulling me back. Me and Joe, you know, Joe's been singing better than he ever sang. So the band really killing it, man. And I've got like 5 lead singers on stage, so the vocals are killer. And the band is fresh, and the young guys are bringing a new energy to it. It's got some new arrangements of some of the old songs, but we're bringing basically playing a lot of the old stuff on this tour. So I think the old fans are going to dig that, you know, plus the hits and all that stuff we got to play. It's a special song to me for many reasons, you know, it's a Beatles song, which is the reason why I breathe. And, you know, I play it the Beatles version with Ringo. Something we did a long time ago was also a song that we did in high school, the Joe Cocker version. And,
I remember that version. That's a very cool version.
Yeah, and that's the version we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's the message of what it is. I get by with a little help from my friends. That's the history of the band right there in a nutshell. Yeah, it's a great message. It's a great vibe, and we do a killer version of it. David and I still run the business. He's still the leader of the band as far as I'm concerned. You know, him and Jeff started the band, so just carrying the torch. But Dave can't travel a lot because of medical reasons. I mean, he can't do long distance tours and keep doing it every night. Once in a while, he shows up. When he does, we always got some extra keyboards throw on the stage, and he comes out, plays 5 or 6 songs with us because he's, like I said, medically, he's been through some stuff.
Okay.
So he said, so me and him still run the business of the band, 50%, you know, and Joseph as well, but Dave and I really run it.
Okay.
We're the original guys that are still left. And, you know, so I always defer to him. I talk to him, you know, 4 or 5 times a week, and he's my oldest best friend. God, I mean, you know, if it wasn't for David Page, I don't know where I'd be at. Dave and Jeff done all, you know, but David taught me how to write and, you know, mentored me, if you will. And then, you know, taught record production, how to do this, taught me everything, songwriting tips and all this. Encouraged, come on, that's a great bit. Finish it. Come on, let's finish that together. And I started writing more and more for the records. He got my confidence. And he's my brother. And he's the one going, come on, go out there and play the music. Keep the music alive.
So he wants you to do it even though he can't.
That's what the music like David Page presents, just so people know that he's still involved. That's it. Sometimes he shows up, but I mean, I wish he could come to the tour, but he can't fly that long anymore.
It's a long flight to Japan. That's true. Yeah.
So I'm bringing my 15-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, I've taken I have 2 older kids too. They're in their 30s.
Yeah.
I've taken each kid with like dad, kid, time on the road, special.
How fun.
So it's her turn this time. So she's excited about it. I'm excited about it. Well, I think the whole Africa craze, you know, that the song came out and just had this huge resurgence and all. It was madness. It was so over the top. We were laughing our asses off going, are you serious, really? there was a demand for it, and some of the guys didn't want to do it anymore, and some of the people didn't get along, and there was some weird stuff that went on. So in 2019, I left it with plans to like just give this thing a rest for a while. I'm not sure what we're going to do, and then the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working on my last solo album, I Found the Sun Again. And Joseph did a record, and we put the records out at the same time. And then we sat on it for 2 years. I mean, going crazy in my house during the pandemic, which is like the worst time ever in my life. And then when the lights came back on, and we had plans to go back on the road with the new version of the band that we put together in 2020. It just seemed to make sense that we, you know, let's do this. Let's go out there and do it. And then all of a sudden it was twice as successful as it was. And there's new energy. And I have a couple of my childhood friends with me. I got some new friends, and the music sounded fresh. And the crowds went crazy. We're selling the tickets, and, you know, we played 500,000 people just the last, I don't know, 6 months.
That's
and,
excellent.
You know, so I mean, if we were going downhill, it'd be one thing, but the stock is going up rather than down. Recommendations. You know, we don't like to have cattle call auditions. That would have been mortifying.
Right.
I see they have to be the highest level guys. I said, you know, how does this guy? Let me see what you can do. And I'd watch YouTubes, and we, you know, things would go, this guy's gonna be great. And then other people said, I know this guy, he's the right guy. And I took those recommendations seriously, and they were all right. They were all correct. The most difficult thing is putting a group of guys together, some that have known each other forever and some that have just met, and have a cohesive, friendly environment that stays positive. And doing all these shows together, all of a sudden it's become the family thing. You know, it takes a while when you have to massage new people into something that's been around this long, and retain the original intent and integrity of the original music and pay homage to that, and still put a little youthful fire in it. So it's like the best of both worlds for me. I'm having the time of my life, and I've been in every version. So I'm
That's
the only guy
great.
that have. Look at me. It's been a challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
But the music, man, I mean, I've dedicated my entire life to this band. I won't let it die. I mean, you know, they'd have to tell me, you know what, it's done. Nobody cares anymore, man. It's time to fucking go to the old folks home and see you later. But this keeps me young at heart. It's what I do. It's the only thing I do. I tried retirement. That fucking pandemic almost killed everybody.
Oh, it did.
Musicians don't retire. You retire from a job that you hate.
Exactly.
I mean, musicians, you can get old and be a good musician. If you know, it's hard to be an old punk musician.
Yeah.
Where's the posturing, you know? That's why, you know, if we were never really a stylish band, so we were never out of style. We're in style, we're out of style. We just sort of like the tortoise and the hare. We were the tortoise, just going, okay, trends come and go, trends come and go. We were still there. We're still there. And now towards the end of, you know, the back nine of life, you know, things are going like this, not like this. So, you know, the opportunities financially, and also doing amazing shows all around the world at really prestigious events, as well as our own headline shows. I mean, God, it's been the gas. Why stop? I mean, this.
Yeah. What kind of artists are on the album with you?
Well, it's basically my singer Joseph Williams produced the record, and David Paich came in and played with Joseph. David and I wrote most of the whole record. My son Trev produced and pretty much wrote. We helped him finish it. The first track on the album, Far From Over. I brought Simon Phillips back to play drums on half of it, and then Shannon Forrest is on half of it. Lee Sklar played bass. I played bass. My son played bass. Jürgen Carlson from Government Mule. Steve Majora, the new keyboard player, second keyboard player in TOTO, wrote me this great blues song. And he had this track, and I just said, I want to do that song. That's cool. That's exactly what I want to do. Stan Lynch from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers wrote some great words for me, as did my old writing partner, Randy Goodrum. We used to write all the ballads together back in the TOTO days. And we made a shameless 80s record and just had fun with it. And it has a little nod to TOTO. I mean, that's why it's called Bridges, a bridge between my solo stuff and the TOTO stuff. You know, we didn't try to write a TOTO album, but the way we write and play together, that's the sound that comes out. So I said, screw it, let's make an 80s record like nobody else is doing it. That's what we do. Let's do it.
And what kind of content does it have? Because it's got all
it's classic rock. It's classic rock, man. There's not a lot of jam, long solo stuff. It's very much song-oriented record. It was 8 songs, you know what I mean? I figured it's like the length of what an old LP would be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need to put 80 minutes worth of music. I mean, who has the time to listen to that? I'd rather put 8 good songs and people go, I'd like to listen to that again than, Jesus, just make it stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And why did you choose the name Bridges?
Because I have a song on the record called Burning Bridges, and that's sort of the word bridges stuck out of me. I said, I need a title for the record. I didn't want to call it Burning Bridges because that sort of has a negative connotation. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what the song's about, actually. But I said, not Bridges. Bridges, that's a cool name for the record because it's a bridge between my solo stuff and TOTO stuff. So I said, okay, you know, it's simple, memorable. Why not? He's a great guitar player, great musician. You know, bass, keyboards, arranger or engineer, producer, songwriter, great. He's a beautiful melodic guitar player and has endless ideas. He's got the arrangers. That's what I told him when he was young. I said, look, there's got a million guys going like this, 90 miles an hour. I said, good to learn that stuff, but it's not useful all the time if you want to be a success. I said, play tasty, great rhythm guitar, great ideas to put around a lead vocal. Like that's what I got hired for as a session musician. I could always hear counter melodies and other ideas to support the lead vocal, the melody, and the track. So he kind of came up with that, you know. I said, none of this, okay? None of this. Uncle Eddie did that, not you. Okay?
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, well, Ed was at the house a lot, man. He lived down the street. One of my best friends, you know, again, another brother gone, you know, I've had to experience a lot of loss in the last few years. I mean, it just comes with age, I guess, but
yeah,
my best friends, man, legends and people that I worked with and family and childhood friends, you know, it's just. Well, because everybody likes to do stuff and we all love to work together. I mean, it's complicated from a legal standpoint. Using the name TOTO, it just confuses things. People, I don't want to get deep into that, man. I went through all the legal stuff, and no, you know, there was an argument about the ownership of the name and all that stuff. That because our original managers in 1977 fucked that up, and so years later it came back and started something that I wish never happened, but it did. So Dave and I had to buy our part of the name. And then so every time we use it, we got to pay people. And then it becomes complicated. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to pay, you know, it'd be one thing if the records were selling 10 million copies like they used to. They don't. We do these new albums and make new music because we love to make new music as artist doesn't stop painting after one painting. You know what I mean? I mean, it may not sell 10 million records, but we have enough of an audience to sell enough of them to keep doing them. Joseph's going to start working on a record now that he's done with mine, and I'm going to go on the road with Ringo. So during his time, he's going to start working on a record, and I'm going to play on it when I get back. You know, I mean, that's what we do. You know, Dave will do another one. I'll play on that. You know, and then until we don't want to do it anymore. But the live thing is really what we do, and that's the most lucrative thing for us to do. And it's immediate, and it's fun, it's easy, in the sense of I've got to work for 2 hours a night. I can do that. It's the greatest job in the world.
Oh, yeah. Is there any chance that you, Joseph, and David will do something new as TOTO?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. It's because of the name.
I just don't see it. That's what we're doing now. We're just, we're playing on each other's records. It's basically the same thing.
Uh-huh.
In the sense of if we were going to write a TOTO record, the three of us would sit in a room and write a record. And we'd, probably use the guys in the band. I didn't use the guys that are in the current band on purpose because I wanted to separate the two things. I've been there 18 years with TOTO, but I've been there another 20 times solo and other projects and all, so I mean, Japan is like a second home for me. I mean, I missed it. Not being there for 4 years is crazy because I used to go once a year at least. Do weird little projects at the Blue Note, like crazy fusion shit, or aside, go tour with Jeff Beck with my solo stuff. We did that twice. There's been some special projects I did, Blue Note kind of projects with Bill Evans, Robin. For like there was like the Miles Davis kind of all-star kind of band. I was in that because I had a small affiliation with Miles. Miles cut one of our songs. He asked me to join his band. I couldn't do it. So I'm with Robin Ford, me, Bill Evans, Daryl Jones from Miles and Stones, and who else played on that though? A kid used to play with Wayne Shorter, was the drummer. Man, he was really good. And so I just stuff like that. A couple of runs with Larry Carlton, and that was we won a Grammy for one of those runs.
Wow. Live
at the Blue Note. So I mean, Japan has always been they've always liked the music that I make and that we make in various configurations. So it's one of my favorite places to come in the whole world. It's a very unique culture. I feel at home there. Hey guys, it's Luke, your old pal of 500 years now. Starting out in 1980, first most wonderful experience of my life, and it just keeps getting better. Love you all dearly. I've missed you these past 4 years, and we got a killer band. We've done 150 shows. The band's tight and loose, fun and energetic. It's an old school rock show. Great lights, great sound, great playing. Everybody gets to show their stuff off, and plus we're playing a lot of the old music, all the hits, all the stuff you want to hear. It's going to be fun. You don't want to miss this, man. We still got it. If I can say that without sounding like an idiot, You
don't. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing you here in Japan.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
NA ヘッドライン、次回もお楽しみに。楽器教則 DVD シェアNo.1、アトスインターナショナルのギターレッスン見放題サービスがスタート。ブルース、アドリブソロ、
F マイナーというのはですね、
音楽理論、
こちらになります。
機材セッティングなど DVD で人気の映像が100本以上見放題。アドリブ、スケール、音楽理論までギターの全てが分かります。アトスギターレッスン、今日からあなたもギタリスト。